Once upon a very recent time, Mark Zuckerberg was sitting pretty on a mountain of cash, ranking as the 6th richest person in the world. Fast forward a year, and it's like he slid down that mountain on a sled made of stock certificates, landing him at the not-so-cozy spot of number 25. A whopping $79 billion have flown the coop, thanks to Meta's stock taking a nosedive into the Mariana Trench of market values. Now, let's set the stage for this financial fumble. Picture Meta, once a titan among US companies, rubbing shoulders with the top 5. Cut to today, and they've tumbled down the ladder, plopping below number 20, even trailing behind the place where you buy nails and lumber. Yes, even Home Depot is dusting them on the stock market shelf. This hasn't just been a stumble, it's been a full-on faceplant. And as the empire teeters, the curtain's been yanked back, revealing Zuckerberg in a whole new light. And let's just say, it's not the warm glow of a sunrise we're talking about. The public's been getting the 411 on his dark character, which, let's be honest, has conjured up more reptilian adjectives than a Davidic convention. Remember the good old days when Zuck was the awkward yet lovable nerd gracing magazine covers? He was the poster boy of connection, the hoodied hero of the digital age. Now, though, that image is fading faster than a Snapchat message, leaving behind a vibe that's more chilly Silicon Valley overlord than was Kid Next Door. And then there's the Metaverse, Meta's pet project that's been more of a facepalm than a game changer. It's like watching someone try to sell ice to penguins, but the penguins are just not buying it. The digital utopia of Horizon Worlds, which Meta has been pouring money into like it's going out of fashion, was hoping to draw in 500,000 monthly active users by the end of 2022. Spoiler alert, the most optimistic tally barely scratches 200,000. That's not just missing the target, that's aiming for the dartboard and hitting the bartender. But wait, there's more. The company's bottom line has been shrinking like a wool sweater in a hot wash. And yet, Zuckerberg's response has been to double down on the digital dream, even as his own team seems to be ghosting the metaverse faster than you can say awkward virtual meeting. And let's talk about the aesthetics. Horizon Worlds is supposedly rife with bugs that make it less exciting digital frontier and more why is my avatar's arm doing that? Meanwhile, the actual user base seems to be a motley crew of kids who've somehow nabbed VR headsets, and even they're bouncing out for greener, or should we say, more pixelated, pastures. So, what's with the relentless push for this VR venture? It's like watching someone trying to put together IKEA furniture with sheer willpower instead of the manual. Investors are spooked, employees are bemused, and Zuckerberg is, still Zuckerberg ing, hellbent on owning the digital universe because, let's face it, sharing isn't exactly his style. This guy's got a history of playing social media king of the hill like it's a game of Monopoly. And the stakes? They're real companies, real jobs, and real user privacy concerns. From the early days of borrowing ideas to strong-arming Instagram into the fold, Zuck's been less gentleman player and more pirate with a Silicon Valley compass. Take the Instagram acquisition, what looked like a match made in social media heaven was actually more of a strategic shark move. Zuckerberg wasn't just collecting apps, he was collecting power, like a tech version of Thanos with his Infinity Gauntlet. And the FTC was like, hold up, buddy, but the tech titan just kept on trucking. All this power play has had real-world blowback, though. Remember the Cambridge Analytica scandal? That was a privacy nightmare that made Freddy Krueger look like a teddy bear. Meta's response? A name change to distract us with shiny VR objects. But the veneer's wearing thin, and the cracks are showing, especially with TikTok dancing circles around Instagram, leaving Zuck and his empire scrambling to keep up. Meta's attempts to mimic TikTok with Reels has been like watching your dad trying to floss dance, awkward and a beat behind. It's gotten so rough that Zuckerberg is reportedly in destroy mode, which sounds less like a savvy business strategy and more like a toddler's response to losing at Candyland. So here we are, in the midst of Zuckerberg's panic parade, witnessing a tech empire's stumble-turned-freefall. It's a tale of ambition, control, and a metaverse that's looking less like the future and more like a very expensive meme. Once upon a time, not too long ago, Mark Zuckerberg was like the king of a vast digital kingdom, sitting on a throne made of code, likes, and poke buttons. His crown? A baseball cap, worn backwards, because why not? The sixth richest person in the world, they said. But then, whoops-a-daisy, down the rich list he slides, from number 6 to 25, like he's on a greased-up slip and slide, except instead of water, it's $79 billion lubricating the way. Suddenly, Meta's stock price is looking more like my grandma's EKG during a power surge. Now, let's paint a picture of Meta's fall from grace. Imagine them as that kid in school who was so cool, their lunch table was invite-only. Flash forward, and they're sitting alone, below the likes of the corporate DIY king, Home Depot. What happened? Did everyone suddenly decide they'd rather talk about power drills than poke their friends online? Nah, it's just that Zuck's shiny Metaverse dream turned out to be more of a glitchy nightmare. Picture the Metaverse, that sparkling digital promised land where avatars can frolic free from the pesky laws of physics. Meta poured money into it like it was a slot machine that was due to pay out big. They were aiming for a bustling digital metropolis with 500,000 users. Instead, they got a virtual ghost town where the tumbleweeds are just unrendered polygons. And what about the actual users, you ask? Oh, it's a hoot! It's like the only folks wandering this digital desert are a handful of kids who've somehow conned their way into VR headsets. The whole situation is so bizarre, you'd expect to see a digital tumbleweed roll by, except it would probably glitch out and turn into a square or something. All the while, Zuckerberg's at the helm, steering the good ship Meta straight into an iceberg, and he's all like, full steam ahead. Trust me, it's just an ice cube. The employees are jumping ship faster than rats with life jackets, but Captain Zuck's got his VR headset on, blissfully unaware, playing Pirate King of the Metaverse. And let's not forget about Instagram's little identity crisis. Once the cool, artsy cousin in the social media family, now it's having a meltdown trying to be TikTok's doppelganger. The result? It's like your cool cousin suddenly showing up to the family barbecue in a knockoff superhero costume, begging for likes and attention. Speaking of TikTok, it's like the new kid on the block that's got all the cool moves. And Zuck's over there, sweating in his hoodie, trying to copy those moves, but he's about 2 beats too slow and a few trends too late. It's like watching your uncle try to breakdance at a wedding. It's painful, it's cringe, but you can't look away. And when Zuck gets scared, oh boy, it's destroy mode time. That's like his version of flipping the Monopoly board when he's losing, except the board is global social media, and the pieces are real companies and people's privacy. It's like he's throwing a temper tantrum, but instead of a timeout, he's getting Senate hearings and hefty fines. At the heart of it all is Zuckerberg's obsession with control. He doesn't just want to be king, he wants to be the emperor of a digital empire, with everyone living in his VR Roman holiday. But the people? They're not buying tickets for the tour. They're busy watching the empire start to look less like Rome and more like a set from a B-movie about the future. So, there we are, folks. Mark Zuckerberg's wild ride from tech titan to meme fodder is the stuff of Silicon Valley legends. And as we watch this digital drama unfold, one thing's for certain, it's going to be one heck of a story to tell our smart fridges and self-driving cars in the future, if they're still speaking to us after all this.